around with the 1948 Jewell Special. Picked this up from the family who still had it since the 40s. The gentleman who built it was Harry Jewell, and he got back from World War II. He saw some of the European cars over there and wanted one for himself. So himself and a couple other guys from Johnson's Body Shop in San Diego hand-formed this all out of steel, and it's all stretched over wooden buck.
Wow, so no production fenders or parts at all. They did it all out of...
Just this section here was from like a 46, 47 Chevy.
Okay.
But everything from here back was all hand hammered out.
Wow.
These guys worked as panel beaters making fighter planes, so they knew how to form metal. So they did a fantastic job at it.
What chassis is it on?
It's two Model A frames. He wanted it longer than a Model A. So one Model A frame is backwards facing that way.
Okay.
Then to have the front end lower, he took off 25% of another Model A frame in the front, welded it on top facing this way. So it's kind of Z.
It's pretty creative.
Then he has a Studebaker Planard front suspension from the 30s. So
What do we have for a power plant? Oh, beautiful flathead.
Ford flathead, 1946 motor.
Gorgeous. Love the color. Matches the body.
Yeah, it's kind of in harmony. It's a little bit different of a copper,
Yeah.
but still it's kind of in the family.
So now how long have you owned the car? How'd you come to acquire it? What kind of condition was it in when you got it?
I was in a swap meet in San Diego and had a Myers-Manx shirt on. A vendor there said, "Oh, I got a Myers-Manx," so of course we're friends all of a sudden. We started talking about cars. What else do you like? I said, I like, oddball, one-off, custom things. And he lit up. Oh, my dad had something he built in the 40s. He's in his 70s now. I call him the son, but he's an age. And he said, I'm never going to get to this thing. Man, if you want to buy it, I'd love it if somebody would do something with it. This was around maybe 2018 or 19. And it was a mess, a barn find for sure. He kept it kind of in an old horse stable on the family property.
Okay.
Super dusty, pigeons all over it, and just parts everywhere. So came up with a decent price. It was very, very negotiable. Picked it up, and I ended up having to fly back out there to get everything together to make it possible for shipping. It arrived, and I kind of just sat and looked at it for a very long time, wondering what I want to do with it. And then this class came up, the Sport Custom class, and Amelia invited this car to be in it. They thought it was interesting. It had an article on it in January 1951 of Road and Track, a 2-page spread on the whole car and the owner. And so it had some provenance to it that made it, fit this group.
That's great. Let's take a look at the back end of this. It almost has the XK120 dip to it.
It does. He created this in the late 40s, and it kind of happened before Jaguar made the XK.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So not saying Jaguar copied it, but
so like I guess the precursor to that would be the 1938 BMW Bugafalte.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of the things he saw, and those type of cars weren't offered in America. So he, like many other veterans from the war, wanted to build their own.
And so you took it through a full restoration effectively, right? I mean, It's not like you didn't just dust it off and it was just beautiful underneath.
At some point, the family redid the car in the 80s.
Okay.
It was yellow. So it got all taken down. I kind of chose the color.
I'm here as a resource.
English, but
Yours,
red
that's
interior.
Yeah, I entered that.
Yeah, I love the interior.
Eucalyptus dashboard.
Oh, neat. I wouldn't even guess that. Very cool. All right, well, thanks for giving us the overview. And
You got it.
This build was started in 1953 by Robert E. Lee Sr. from Eldersburg, Maryland. He was retired from Baltimore City Police Department on disability. I have receipts from 53 up through 56 for the parts that he bought, where he bought them. Being a part of the police department, he got 40% discount. Unfortunately, the last thing that was done was the interior at Reisterstown Upholstery. There, it didn't have antifreeze. The motor froze up and busted, and the radiator, he took it home and never, ever touched it again. In 1981, Robert E. Lee Jr. got out of the military and went to his dad and got the car. The last thing his dad did before he got it on the trailer said, "Junior, what are you going to do with the car?" He said, "I want to put it on the road." He said, "You got to put tires on it." He reached in his pocket, handed him a wad of cash. He put tires on it. When I got it, it still had all 5 of those tires. The 1981 spare is still in the trunk, wide white, and he did different work to it, but he JB welded the 216 Chevrolet with Frank McGurk high-end performance parts. JB welded the block, he dumped water in it, and it went right in the oil pan. He never touched the car again. He met me in 2011, came to my house, saw my collection of cars that have been in my family for the 50s, 60s, 30s, and he decided, "Ed, this is the car. You're the person I want to have the car."
The steward for its future. That's great.
Yep, for future. And he passed away 2 years ago. His wife hasn't got back with me. She was in a nursing home. And I did text her, never got a response because I was so proud when Jeff asked me to be here that I wanted her to know. But it's a pretty cool car.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the only sport custom in our class that's a metal body. Everything else is fiberglass. So it's more emblematic of what most of the sport customs in the era were. So give me an idea. What are some of the production components? Where do the fenders come from?
Okay.
What are some other pieces here?
I have the receipts in the trunk, the actual original receipts. This is actually Oldsmobile.
Okay.
In 50-51, they were stacked. It was like 4 of them. He went to City Olds in Baltimore and he bought a Surround. He goes to where the car is and he goes, "Nope, don't like it." Took it back and got this one. The tickets are 1 number apart. That's how quick he went back. This is all Chevrolet. This is a T-Bird, 5567 T-Bird hood with the scoop. I have the receipts. These are brand new Buick fenders, brand new stainless. The door extension would be here. The quarter panel extension would be here. I have the receipt where he went to junkyard. These are Lincoln rear fenders. This is a Buick hood. And if you go on the other side, you can actually see where the emblem, here's one of the holes. This is where the side emblem would be. So he put a Buick hood backwards to give it a nice roll and bring it in. This is a 47 Buick Coupe deck lid. Receipts for the hubcaps. They're brand new Chrysler 300 hubcaps. They were $40 couple for the 4. The spinners are 57, 58 Chevy. They were $7 and change.
What about the taillights?
These are Lincoln. These are the Lincoln
Okay.
taillights.
Thought so.
Yep, yep. I have the receipts for all the gauges. It has electric speedometer that has absolutely never been hooked up. The generator is laying at home. I've never hooked it up. That's what we got phones for, but all Stewart Warner gauges, and they're not all the wing gauges. They stopped the wing gauge production. I think it's 53, and he bought more, and they weren't the wing. They just had the white.
He made do with what he could get.
Yep, yep. Brand new steering wheel. I have chrome plating receipts. He had the steering column chrome plated. It was $1. $1 in Baltimore. Let's see, 39 Ford closed car windshield. The stanchions he made out of a piece of oak and took to Baltimore City, and they're cast in brass. It was the windshield and the stanchions were $10 and change to chrome plate them. That's what kind of makes a car so neat, is having the receipts and seeing.
Yeah.
And he spent like maybe $3,000 building the whole car. So,
Great car. And the interior is original, you said?
yes, that's what was done when the car was built. This is the very last thing that was done to the car.
I like when they take the upholstery over this because this makes such a nice armrest. You can just cruise with
Yep.
one arm out.
And it's
you're not
channeled,
cooking your arm on top of the metal.
right. It's channeled so much. This is actually the frame.
Right.
You know, it's covered, but the frame is all the way up here to give it that low
Right.
look.
Yeah, so you don't look like you're a Shriner in a parade just sitting way too high.
Way high. He did some really trick things under the hood for the suspension.
Yeah, can we see what we
Yep.
got going on under here? And do you know, where did he come up with the name? It's the Traveler, right?
Traveler.
Yeah.
That was General Robert E. Lee's horse.
Oh, all right.
But if you look down here, the front cross member has been dropped about 10 inches.
Oh,
motor
yeah, look at
down.
that.
Because the 37 motor would have been
Way
this
too
high.
high, yeah.
The steering column, he actually built a wedge on top of the frame to lower the column. And when he did that, it kicked it up far enough that the pitman arm wouldn't work. Now, I have the receipt. It has a truck pitman arm that, instead of being 8 inches long, is like almost a foot to drop it down to get to the drag lane.
A lot of really clever solutions.
It was, and you can see all this was hand fabricated. Junior had put, when he JB welded the block, he put a Griffin radiator in it, but it did not keep it cold. And I was messing with the generator, and I had my cell phone sitting on top of the radiator, and it went right down between the fan and the radiator, put a hole in the radiator.
Yeah.
And this is the only radiator I have found to keep it cool.
So yeah, so your phone fell down, nuked the radiator. It was
Yep.
probably for the best, actually.
And I put, the reason this is cut out, the Griffin radiator went underneath, and I had a big, like a 53 Chrysler product radiator that stuck up really high. That wouldn't keep it cool. And my shop, I did work on a guy's 54 Chevy, and he wanted a new radiator. This one was perfect. He goes, nope, I want a new one. You know, don't want to take any chances. This is the radiator out of his 54, and it's the only one I can do anything. It does not get hot. And it's got the right size inlet, outlet. I wouldn't think it would make a difference, but it does.
Now you said you actually drive this thing, right? You said you've
I've
done
driven
trips where you put 200 miles
Yeah,
in one go on it.
Yep.
That's great.
It's got a boat gas tank in it now. The original tank went bad, and Junior took it out and put a 10-gallon boat tank in it, and I've just left it.
Yeah. Hey, if it works, it works,
Yeah.
right?
You know, I didn't expect to come here, but yeah, I enjoy it. I've had people move very, very high-end cars. It shows sitting beside of me because people are laying against their car to look at this.
Yeah.
Especially when I first got it and before people had seen it.
Well, people appreciate the uniqueness, you know, especially with how many people are so invested in the car hobby. You know, the magazines they read, the shows they go to. You see the same stuff so frequently, and that's obviously that's what we focus on here, not seeing the same stuff, the unique stories, the interesting histories, the Americana of it all.
Well, this row is definitely unique.
Yes, absolutely. It's going to get more unique looking too as the covers come off here.
And the people with them are just as unique.
Yes. You have to be a little bit crazy, right? That's okay. Just enough. All right, Eddie. Well, thanks for the overview. We're going to make our way down the rest of the class. And
thank you, Mike.
Perfect. Appreciate it.